Hi, I'm Steggy from Elgato, and this is ChatLink Pro. Now, a number of years back, console content creators had a big problem. Since the Sony PlayStation 4 was first released, it had a weird behavior with its audio, where if you were to connect a headset to your controller or console, the PS4 would disable audio on its HDMI output, and only send audio to the headset. Now, this posed a problem for creators because in order to capture PS4 gameplay, most use capture cards, which take in an HDMI signal, and this is how you send both video and audio to your capture card and computer for recordings and live streams. Now, while workarounds for this issue for certain headsets were really expensive, back in 2015 we came up with a simple and affordable workaround for analog headsets. We created a cable which would split the audio coming from your controller and send it to your headset and your computer simultaneously for recording or live streaming, all while allowing you to have full use of your headset's microphone for party chat as well. We called it ChatLink, and for years it's been an extremely popular product for console content creators who are looking to capture audio from their PS4. Now you might be asking, that was 2015, it's 2021, is this cable still necessary? Well, unfortunately, not only does the PS4 still have this weird audio behavior, but Sony's also implemented that same behavior into the PS5 as well. So simply put, if you use a PS5 and want to connect a headset to it, you'll need a ChatLink in order to capture your console's audio. But what's more, not only does Sony have this behavior, but we found that the Nintendo Switch also has a similar behavior, where if you plug in a headset into its 3.5mm port, it also disables audio over the HDMI output. So essentially, for 2 out of the 3 major consoles, ChatLink is still a necessity for creators. Because of this, we decided to make Elgato ChatLink Pro. Now, you might be wondering, what makes ChatLink Pro different from ChatLink? In other words, what makes ChatLink Pro, Pro? Well, ChatLink Pro is very similar to ChatLink. You still have the same design of the 3.5mm male jack for your controller or console, the 3.5mm male jack for your capture card or computer's line in, and the 3.5mm female port for your headset to plug into. But there are 2 key differences with ChatLink Pro. Number 1, we made ChatLink Pro tougher, with a sturdy braided cable and tougher jacks with gold-plated connectors, with the goal of withstanding serious wear and tear from gaming sessions. And number 2, we incorporated a ground loop isolator to prevent audio interference in certain setups. So let's break down these 2 features and find out why they matter. First, the build quality. This is pretty simple. Over the years, we've noticed that the rigors of intense gaming sessions from some of our users caused their chat links to wear out over time. So, in addition to improving the functionality of ChatLink Pro with a ground loop isolator, we wanted to improve its durability as well to stand up to even the most rigorous users. So we incorporated a nylon braided cable with stronger connector molds that will stand up to gamers more than traditional audio cables will. Now, let's talk about the second feature, the ground loop isolator. What is it, and why should you use it? Well, if you've ever used analog audio before, you might be familiar with some of the weird sounds you might hear, like when you plug in an audio jack, or maybe if you have an audio jack that's not plugged all the way in. And you might hear some static or buzzing or other weird noises. Well, one thing about analog audio is electrical grounding can impact the quality of the audio being transmitted and can potentially add some unwanted buzzing or distortion. Now, in gaming setups, this generally comes from something called a ground loop, which is what happens when you connect a non-grounded device to a grounded device with an analog cable. So you have your non-grounded device, which is basically any major console, your Switch, your Xbox, your PS5, and then you have your grounded device, your desktop or laptop, and then your analog cable caught in between them, aka ChatLink, or any other analog audio cable. And forming this connection can cause a ground loop which causes buzzing, which can sound something like this. We don't want this. Now, what's interesting to note here is that the ground loop occurs only when ChatLink is physically connected to the console. So if you use a PS4 or PS5 controller and you're using them wirelessly, you won't get this ground loop. However, if you're charging these controllers, they're now physically connected to the console, and now ChatLink is physically connected to the console, and now you'll have the ground loop. So if you already have a ChatLink and are wondering why you might have never heard this buzzing noise, it's probably because you've been using your controllers wirelessly. Or if you already have a ChatLink and were wondering why you were getting this buzzing noise, well, this is the reason. Now, when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, This console poses an interesting problem because you don't have your headset plugged into a wireless controller. It's plugged into the docked console itself, so you don't have a choice. You're going to be creating a ground loop. So while ChatLink has been a viable option for plenty of PS4 and PS5 users, Switch users can't avoid a ground loop when trying to use a headset and capture in-game audio. So this is where a ground loop isolator comes in, because this essentially prevents the audio feedback from a ground loop from being introduced into the captured audio or into your headset. Simply put, it takes away the buzzing. So this is why we wanted to incorporate this into ChatLink Pro. So number one, to allow PS4 and PS5 users to be able to use ChatLink Pro in more scenarios, aka if you're using a wired controller, or if you want to charge your wireless controller while using it. And number two, as a way to serve Nintendo Switch users, since a normal ChatLink wouldn't prevent the buzzing from a ground loop. What's great too is that ChatLink Pro's ground loop isolator has a powered switch, so you can turn it on only when needed, as ground loop isolators can sometimes affect the EQ or tone of audio, so rather than having a setup where you need to unplug the isolator whenever you don't need it, all you have to do is flip a switch. So if you're deciding between ChatLink and ChatLink Pro from a functional level, it's quite simple. Do you ever want to plug in your PS4 or PS5 controller while using ChatLink? Then you want the Pro. Do you have a wired controller you want to use with ChatLink? Then you want the Pro. Do you want to use ChatLink with a Nintendo Switch? Then you want the Pro. Are you tough on your gaming gear and does a tougher build quality cable sound better suited for your needs? Then you want the Pro. So these are the 4 questions you have to ask yourself when deciding between ChatLink or ChatLink Pro. Now, I personally think that the extra benefits are worth going for the Pro, especially considering that since Sony has continued this software behavior going from the PS4 to PS5, that this will most likely be behavior that stays throughout the PS5's life, and possibly in future console releases. Because even though the Pro costs a little bit more than regular ChatLink, it's still by far the cheapest solution to offering the full functionality of your headset with your consoles while being able to capture your console's audio. But hopefully, with this overview, you have a clear picture on what ChatLink Pro is and how ChatLink helps you when creating content. ChatLink Pro is available now on Elgato.com. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. And don't forget to hit that like button and get subscribed so you can catch the rest of our videos and tutorials to learn how to unlock the full power of your Elgato products. Once again, I'm Steggy from Elgato, and until our next video, good luck and have fun.